There are 6 moments in life when a truly wise person chooses silence over speech, and understanding why could change the way you move through the world forever. Watch until the end, because the last one is the hardest to master, and almost no one gets it right. Think about the eagle for a moment. It never travels in flocks the way pigeons and sparrows do. It rises alone, rides the wind alone, and hunts alone, not because it fears company, but because height demands solitude. The higher you climb in life, the fewer companions you will find beside you, and that is not a punishment. It is a sign that you are exactly where you are meant to be. People will remember the one time you stumbled far longer than the 100 times you sacrificed for them, and if you wait for applause for your effort, you will spend your whole life waiting. There is a quiet kind of strength that the world constantly underestimates, the strength of patience. A seed pushes through soil without announcing itself, without drama, without a single sound, and yet in the right season, it becomes a tree that shades an entire courtyard. But when that same tree finally falls, the whole neighborhood hears the crash. This is the nature of things. Creation happens in silence. Destruction happens in noise. So if your life feels quiet right now, if nothing seems to be happening, understand that roots are forming underground where no one can see them. A person who spends their energy lifting others rarely lies awake at night. Their mind is calm because their hands have been useful. Kindness costs nothing, and yet it is the one thing that makes a plain face beautiful and a beautiful face unforgettable. Forgiveness, though, is a different exercise entirely from trust. You can forgive someone completely and still choose never to hand them your heart again, and that is not bitterness, that is wisdom learned the hard way. Do not burn your minutes resenting people who never think of you at all. Your time is the one currency you cannot borrow back. There will be seasons when you stand utterly alone, and you must learn that standing alone is infinitely better than standing surrounded by people who see no value in you. Respect is not something you can demand from the world. It is something the world hands you only after you have first handed it to yourself. Every human being on this earth is built from the same clay. The only real difference between them is habit. The wise know exactly when to play the fool, and the honest know exactly when silence serves the truth better than a blunt confession. No one on this earth is truly your enemy, and no one is truly your friend in the way you imagine. Everyone who crosses your path is simply a teacher wearing a different mask. Never follow a man blindly, because no storyteller will ever tell you the chapter where he was the villain. If you cannot read a man's character clearly, look instead at the company he keeps, because birds of the same nature always find each other. Every good thought you carry in your chest, even unspoken, functions like a quiet prayer reshaping your future. Notice how the most valuable things in this world rarely announce themselves. A woman of true grace does not need to expose herself to be noticed, and a man of true wealth does not need to flash it to be respected. Real beauty stays modest. Real wealth stays silent. And when you finally walk away from a person or a place, understand that you are not walking away to teach anyone a lesson. You are walking away because you have finally learned yours. Do not let the fear of failing keep you frozen. Let the fear of never even trying be the thing that terrifies you instead. When someone speaks poison about you behind your back, remember it is rarely about you at all. It is almost always the sound of their own insecurity leaking out. If your ambition is to soar with eagles, stop lingering at the pond with the ducks. And here is the secret almost no one tells you. There are exactly 2 moments when silence becomes your greatest weapon. When someone cannot understand your feelings no matter how clearly you explain them, and when someone understands everything about you without you saying a single word. Never fire back a reply while anger is still burning in your chest. Never make a promise while joy has your judgment clouded. And never carve a permanent decision out of a temporary sadness. There comes an age, or maybe just a moment of clarity, when you simply stop keeping score of who likes you and who doesn't, because you finally have better things to build. If you extend love to me, I will return it tenfold. If you stand behind me, I will stand behind you without hesitation. And if you choose to hate me, I will not lose a single hour of sleep over it, because life continues to move forward whether you walk beside me or not. Never beg anyone to be drawn toward you. Magnetism cannot be forced, it can only be earned. Learn, above everything else, how to sit comfortably in your own company. Every person you pass on the street is carrying a chapter of pain you will never read, and that hidden weight is exactly why they laugh differently, love differently, and live differently than you do. Pay close attention to the strongest people around you, because they are often the ones pouring out help to others while quietly drowning in their own storm. Understand this deeply. Today's struggle is simply tomorrow's success wearing a disguise. Success will always embrace you privately, while failure prefers to slap you in front of an audience, and that imbalance is simply the nature of the game. Do not lean too heavily on any single person in this life, because even your own shadow abandons you the moment you step into darkness. Watch closely for people who see every flaw in you but somehow never notice a single flaw in themselves, and release your grip on them, because as long as your hands are full of the wrong people, they will never be free to hold the right ones. You do not need to transform overnight. Just commit to becoming 1% sharper, 1% wiser, 1% stronger than yesterday, every single day. Experience will always be your finest teacher, and strangely, the most painful experiences tend to leave the most valuable lessons behind. Walk through each day one at a time, and let gratitude for the smallest things anchor you. If someone once wronged you, the sweetest revenge you will ever get is letting them witness your peace, your growth, and your happiness long after they become irrelevant to your story. 4 words hold the entire architecture of a meaningful life: love, honesty, truth, and respect, and without them, everything else you build will eventually collapse. Never forget the person who handed you a torch when you were lost in your darkest hour. Keep your eyes fixed on the good, and you will find yourself loving the world. Keep your words gentle and true, and you will find the world loving you back. Carry these 6 disciplines with you like a compass. Trust before you pray, listen before you speak, earn before you spend, think before you write, attempt before you surrender, and truly live before you die. Somewhere along the way, the world quietly redefined its currencies. Happiness became the new wealth, inner stillness became the new success, health became the new fortune, and kindness became the new mark of strength. Every single year of life exists to teach you the same 2 lessons on repeat. Nothing and no one is permanent, and life, regardless of your readiness, will keep moving forward. So work in silence, let your results speak the language your critics refuse to understand, and let your quiet, consistent effort be the only reply you ever give to the noise around you. There is another truth that most people discover too late, that the loudest room is rarely the wisest one. A man who has truly mastered himself does not need to raise his voice to be heard, because his presence already carries weight. Watch how a river moves. It does not scream at the rocks in its path. It simply keeps flowing until the rock is worn smooth. That is what patience does to obstacles. It does not destroy them with force. It dissolves them with time. If you find yourself surrounded by chaos, ask yourself honestly whether you built that chaos or whether you simply chose to stand inside it. Because sometimes the bravest decision you can make is to walk out of a room that no longer serves who you are becoming. Never mistake kindness for weakness, and never mistake silence for surrender. A calm man is not a defeated man. He is a man who has simply stopped explaining himself to people who are never going to understand him anyway. There is a certain peace that arrives the moment you stop trying to be understood by everyone and start focusing only on being true to yourself. That peace cannot be bought, borrowed, or gifted. It can only be built, brick by brick, through every storm you choose to weather with grace instead of grudge. We must learn to use our time with intention, in the full knowledge that the right moment to do the right thing is always now, never later, never tomorrow, never when it becomes convenient. History does not remember the people who waited for perfect conditions. It remembers the people who took the first step while the staircase was still hidden in darkness. You do not need to see the entire path ahead of you. You only need enough courage and enough faith to place one foot in front of the other. Darkness cannot chase away darkness. Only light has that power, and hatred cannot dissolve hatred. Only love has ever managed to do that. If flying feels impossible today, then run. If running feels impossible, then walk. If walking feels impossible, then crawl. But under no circumstance are you permitted to stop moving forward, because forward, even at the slowest pace imaginable, is still forward. Whatever calling life has placed in your hands, whether it is small in the eyes of the world or great, Do it with such complete devotion that even the people who doubted you are forced to pause and take notice. A street swept with pride and purpose is no less noble than a masterpiece painted with the same devotion, because greatness was never about the size of the task, it was always about the size of the heart behind it. If even one line of what you just heard found its way into your chest, that is exactly the kind of wisdom this channel was built to share with you, week after week. This is English Words, and if you want more of this, honest reflections, timeless quotes, and the kind of thinking that quietly rebuilds a person from the inside out, then subscribe to English Words right now, turn on the notification bell, and make sure you never miss the next video. Your support costs nothing, but it means everything to us, and it helps this message reach someone else who needs to hear it today. See you in the next one.